Hey, how's it going, guys? Coach Bates here. I wanted to go ahead and put a few videos together to kind of explain the philosophy of what we're wanting to accomplish this year with the Yellow Jackets. And I want to start off with one of the biggest differences, and that's that I don't want to continue to use conditioning as a punishment. So it's one of those where it's going to end up being a double-edged sword, right? So first of all, let's talk about why. So the reason for it is I want to make sure that our drills and every single one of our practices has conditioning in mind into it, right? We want game speed and everything like that. So I also don't want conditioning to become this thing where, like, okay, you're taking me off, you're this, you're that, I'm going to put you in through conditioning, get on the line type of stuff. I just want, that's going to end up taking up time for practice. So what I like to do, and what we did last year a little bit with one of our players, we were having issues with effort, right? And I'm a big believer in effort isn't something that I should be coaching into you. I shouldn't be telling you to hustle. I shouldn't be telling you to hurry up and get up here or hurry up and get water. That should just be who you are. That is, what is it you're about? If we're there for a 2-hour block for practice, you should understand, for these 2 hours, I got to be focused in. I got to make sure that I'm putting in the effort and that I'm getting, I'm only going to get in return whatever I put in, right? So I shouldn't be there telling you constantly, hurry up, hustle, hustle, hustle. Like, it should just be you. I'd be like, all right, get a quick water, and then we'll be back. And it's like, all right, as soon as the coach is on or as soon as you guys break, go ahead, jog over to get water, and then jog back to get back. That's it. It's only 2 hours that you need to set aside specifically for whatever it is that we're trying to accomplish, right? So what we do in the event that I'm starting to see kids that aren't putting in the effort, right? We're going through the drills and I'm saying, hey, I want game speed. We're into the run phase. I want you guys going game speed on this. And if I'm starting to see someone consistently, I'll be like, hey, hey, Christian, you're not giving me game speed. I need more. And you go through it again and everything like that. And then I'm seeing it where you're putting your head down or you're not really trying. You're kind of just jogging. You're not sprinting. All right, hey, take this drill off. Go ahead, get your mind right. That's how we're gonna treat it. So they go, and then for however long I decide, or whether it's for that whole drill, wherever it is, you're gonna take that some aside, and it's on you. It's like, okay, this is the time for you to think about what the hell just happened. I gotta go back in there with the right attitude, and then it's like, all right, you ready to come back in? You are? Cool. Go right back into it. If you're not, stay out. And then if we end up having a repeat offender where it continues to happen, whether it's that day or whatever the case is, then it needs to be brought up to my attention. Be like, hey, coach, Christian was giving me issues all freaking day this practice. He just wasn't hustling. He wasn't really working hard, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm going to go ahead and reach out to you. I'm going to talk to you and be like, hey, what's going on? What happened at practice today? Why am I getting reports from the coach? Or, maybe I'm on the other side of the gym and it's like, why is it the coach is coming to me and telling me that you're not working hard? Is everything okay? What's going on? And we'll discuss it, right? Things happen. Maybe your mind's not there, whatever the case is. All right, take that time off. Or maybe if it's happening and I'm like, hey, you know what? I need you to really be locked in here. If you're not, you're going to have to get out of here for the rest of the day. You're not going to participate in practice anymore because you're taking up our time. You're slowing everybody else down. And that negative kind of attitude is just going to spread across everybody else. So that's kind of how I want to address those situations. And it's going to be the same thing with in-game, right? I don't believe in this whole, hey, if we only make if we make less than 50% of our free throws, then at practice we got to sprint. Or if we lose the game at practice, we got to sprint. Or if we lose by this much, we're going to no. It's going to be addressed right there in the spot. If I'm seeing you consistently argue with the ref or even react. Those of you that have been with me for a while, I'm not a fan of you reacting to the ref. Emotions get there. I'm not worried about it. But you directly making any conversation with the ref, that's not for you to ever do at all. Respect goes both ways. You got to respect them just like you expect them to respect you. So on top of that, let's say we have a situation where I see a player make a mistake in the game, and then they get kind of like frustrated at themselves for it. I'll be like, hey, get over it. Move on to the next play. Get back on defense. Or if I'm having to repeatedly tell you, you're not getting back on defense, you're not sprinting, I'm going to pull you from the game. I might pull you for the rest of the quarter. I might pull you for the rest of the game. And if it's something that's happened multiple times, it's like, hey, we've got an issue here. Either you're not wanting to be a part of this team, you don't want to work hard or anything like that, or something is going on in your personal life. We need to get that straight. Because I'm not wanting to keep that around the rest of the guys. I want to make sure that everybody is out here with a purpose, and the purpose is you want to get to college. You want to play basketball at the college level. So I want to make sure that we get fundamentals right, we get your attitude right, and that every single time you step on the floor, whether it's for practice, whether it's for a game, you've got the right attitude. You're locked in and you're putting in the effort. So I don't want the punishment to be conditioning. I want the punishment to be, I'm going to take you out of us for a second. You're not going to get to participate in this drill for a second. You're not going to participate in the rest of the practice for a second. You're not going to participate in the rest of this quarter, this game, whatever the case is. And then if it's something that continues to happen, I'm going to be having this discussion with your parents as it happens. It's not going to be like, hey, one day at practice, you had a bad attitude, you're off the fucking team. No, that's not how it works. Things happen. There's a lot on our minds sometimes, whatever the case may be, right? But I'm gonna talk to you about it. And then I'm going to talk to your parents about it. Be like, hey, Mrs. or Mr., whatever the case is, this is what's happening at practice. It's the first time that it's happened. I'm not too concerned about it. I just want to let you know about it. Happens again, and be like, hey, remember that thing we talked about? It happened again. I need you to have a conversation with them. Let me know if maybe this isn't the right time for them to be on the team, or whatever the case may be, and we'll address it from there. Because I just don't want conditioning. One, I don't want it to be a punishment because it's not. Two, I don't want it taking time away from what it is that we're trying to accomplish, whatever skill it is that we're trying to learn, whatever we're trying to develop, whatever the case is, all that does is get in the way, right? And like I told each and every single one of you guys, there's a reason why I'm very picky about who gets to come on the team. I want everybody to show up and have the right kind of attitude. Developmental focus, all right? What does that mean? I don't care about wins. Don't care. We're not at the varsity level. Even if we were, we're not playing at the varsity level for high school where we can play for state championships. Wins and losses, I don't care. The only benefit that winning brings us during the regular season is we'll be able to have more of an opportunity to succeed in the playoffs and get more games. I'm all about that. That's why they matter, right? Does this mean that if we get a win, I'm going to look at you and be like, stop celebrating? No, not at all what I mean by that. I want you to feel good about winning and accomplishing that goal. But what I'm meaning by it is winning will never take precedence over anything else. It won't. If we're losing a game and I feel that my only chance to win that game is to put back a player that was just giving attitude or was not putting in the effort, or that I just sat out, or for whatever reason or anything like that, guess what? I'm not putting in that player. Because it's not about winning. It's not at all. So I want you to, first and foremost, get that understood. I know I've had the discussion with all you parents. I've had the discussion with the players. I just want to make sure that I fully emphasize on that. It is not about winning. It is about us developing, getting better, and having the right attitude. All right, so the next thing is that attitude, right? What I mean by that is I want you to learn. I want you to put in the effort. If you have a question, ask the question. I never want you to feel like I'm going to make you feel stupid for something like that. If you're like, Coach, I'm not understanding on this pick and roll. The ref keeps, calling a foul on me, moving screen. I'm like, all right, cool. If he does it again, let's see what's going on. If I'm not seeing something consistent, like, okay, you moved your foot or you extended too much or anything like that, I'll let you know. But if I'm not seeing it and it's something unfair, we'll talk to the coach. To the ref. I'll talk to the ref. It's not your responsibility. So with attitude, I don't want there is no discussing back and forth. There is no arguing back and forth. If you have a question, I will gladly answer it. If there is something that I'm doing that is against what I said, like if I told you, hey, if you're not putting in the effort, I'm not going to keep you in the game. But then at the end of the game, you felt one of your teammates wasn't putting in the effort. The time to do it is not right there and then to address it with me. Be like, after the game, shoot me a message, give me a call, see me in person, be like, hey, Coach, I just want you to know, I don't think that I don't think this individual was putting in the effort. And these are the reasons I don't think. A lot of the times, we were having to tell him to hurry up and get back on defense, or he wasn't fully boxing out. Be like, cool, we've got film, let's look at it, and if so, we'll address it. All right, so that's how you address that situation. Don't feel like you can't come and talk to me about it. It's just there's a time and place for everything. On top of that, in practice, I shouldn't be consistently telling you guys, hurry up. I shouldn't be telling you hustle. That's something that you either have it internally or you help your teammates and tell them, let's go. Set the standard. Be the one out there, right? Don't be the one that's doing this, but never actually acting on what it is that you're asking. Don't be like, hey, let's go, guys, let's go. But you're not already gone, right? Make sure you lead by example first. Check yourself before you try to check anybody else. The next thing is going to be like calls. Those of you that have been on the program already, you already know. In practice during the scrimmages, I'm going to call calls that are BS. I'm going to. And if I see you start reacting to them, I'm going to intentionally call them against you even more. Because I need you to mentally understand the call is out of your hand. It is out of my hand, it is out of your hand. There is only 2 to 3 individuals that can make a difference on that, and that is the refs. We are not the refs, it is not our job. Our job is to make sure we try to execute what the game plan is. It is not to go out there and freaking argue with the refs. Okay, so I'm not going to sit there and argue with the refs. My coaches are sure as hell not going to sit there and argue with the refs, cuss at the ref, or anything like that. If there's a discussion that needs to be had, I'll make sure to have it with the ref myself right there if it needs to. And if it doesn't, chances are it doesn't. I don't really give a damn. I'm just going to focus on the other stuff that we can control, right? Another thing with attitude, like I said, making sure you're locked in. We're coming into that 2-hour practice. Lock in. Make sure that is your priority, is to accomplish whatever it is that we're learning that day. Game film. Make sure you're watching game film. We're going to push out every single game that we record. We're going to push it out. Watch it. Watch yourself. What is it? Let's say this week we worked on boxing out, right? Let's say it was boxing out on offense and defense, and I don't know, freaking moving the ball from the elbow, right? Whatever it is that we attached or we focused on during that week, I want you to focus. Okay, am I doing that right? Am I messing up on something? Literally go in there and check yourself, right? Check what you're doing right, check what you're doing wrong, so on and so forth. So having the right attitude toward yourself and improving yourself is going to help the entire team. All right. Next thing is going to be game days, right? Playing time. So I don't need you guys worried about whether or not you're going to get playing time. My thing is, if you're on the game roster and you show up to the game, like, which I like to keep at 8, 10 max, you're going to play, right? I'm going to keep you in there the better you're doing and everything like that. And I'm not going to punish you off of the first single mistake you make. You forgot to box out once. I'm going to tell you, hey, what happened? You didn't box out. I'm going to tell you on your way back down, box out, box out. That's one time right there. If I tell you twice, I'm like, hey, that's 2 times you haven't boxed out, get out. I'll pull you out and everything like that. I'll talk to you myself, or I'll have one of the coaches tell you, hey, you're not boxing out, this is where you're messing up. You're still going to get a chance to go back in, as long as, the rotation is happening and everything like that. But what's not going to happen is you're going to make the same mistake 3 times. Or if you just have the wrong attitude the first time, any single time that I see you yell at a ref, cuss out another player, or anything like that, no, you're coming out for the game. You're coming out for the game. There's no discussion. I don't care if you have freaking 20 points. We're only down. I don't care. You're coming out. You're coming out, right? Another thing as well, if you're a practice player, understand that there will be opportunities for you to come and actually play during the game. Whether it's some players can't show up for that game, we have too many players missing, or I've just actually seen you. You're not only working really hard in practice, which you all will be, but you're really improving. So I'm going to be like, hey, I need you to come out this weekend because you're doing really well at practice. I want to see if it translates into the game, right? So keep that in mind as well if you're a practice player, that I will be wanting you guys to step up. And then at the end of the spring, once we go into the next league, those practice players, if you guys are ready, you will be put into the game roster and everything like that. And if that means that we have more than 10 players and we're going into 12, 13 players, then we might end up having to put 2 teams together instead of just 1 for the following league. So do understand that, yes, we only have 1 team right now. Yes, we only have 8 to 10 players showing up to the game, so that way everybody gets a good amount of playing time. But for those practice players, there is an opportunity for you to continue to get better and actually make the game roster. Same thing goes for the game players, right? If you're consistently not showing up to the games, if you're consistently struggling, like turning the ball over, like you're traveling a lot, or you're moving screens a lot, or you're not boxing out a lot, I'm gonna be like, hey, you're not focused in. I'm not getting what I need during the practice, during the game. I'm gonna need you to just come to practice, and I'll let you know once you're ready to go back into the game. So that's gonna be a thing as well. I don't feel like this year that's gonna end up being an issue at all whatsoever. If anything, I think this year my issue is gonna be we're gonna have to end up needing 2 teams so we can get more playing time for the players. Last and probably not probably last, but the most important thing is just going to be respect. Respect for yourself, respect for your peers, respect for your coaches, so on and so forth. Whoever we play against, anything like that. Just like I've talked about the attitude that you have toward others, respect is going to be just as important. And I'm not just talking to the players. I'm speaking to the parents, and I'm especially speaking to the coaches. We as coaches have to be the standard, right? We don't just speak the standard, we have to show that standard. If I don't want a player, because it's not okay for a player to be disrespecting me and yelling at me and cussing at me, it is not okay for me to do that to the player. So I must understand the respect goes both ways. Same thing with the parents, same thing with the refs, same thing with my coaches, anything and everybody. I have to have respect, right? So if I carry myself with respect, others will respect me. And if they don't, it's not my damn problem whether they do or not. So I need you guys to always have in the back of your mind, respect comes first and foremost. Okay. Now let's talk communication. Always understand you can reach out to me. If you have a concern, a question, reach out to any of the coaches, any of us about anything. If you're not comfortable talking to me about something, I've got other coaches you could talk to. If you're like not comfortable bringing up an issue, a situation with me, all right, either talk to my coaches, talk to your parents, they can speak to us, however it needs to be. Whatever it is, it needs to be addressed, it needs to be talked about. It can't just be put under a rug, nothing like that. We have to have clear communication across the whole board, whether you're a practice player only or it's myself. All of us, we all have to have communication with each other. We have to be able to come and speak to each other respectfully about whatever concern it is that we have. So do understand that we are all to keep that in mind, especially us as coaches. And I think that pretty much covers everything that I can think of right now. As you guys know, I talk a lot. I could go on for days. So I'm going to cut it off here, but do understand that the number one goal for us is to continue to get better, to develop, understand the game better. And as we keep going 5, 6, 7 weeks in, we are going to be implementing offensive and defensive strategy and understanding sets and putting in plays and so on and so forth. But to start off, that is not our objective. Our objective is to make sure we're doing the fundamentals, boxing out, having the right attitude, out hustling our opponents. Nobody should be able to outwork us at all. Being physical, but without fouling. And we'll go over all those other little things and everything like that. But I'm really excited for this season to kick off. I'm really excited to be back and be able to work with you guys and everything like that. If you have any other questions, any comments, any concerns, please reach out to me directly. Talk to me. Let me know. Let me see what I could do to alleviate whatever it is concern that you have on your mind. All right. Thank you guys again. And let's kick it off on the right foot.